타이타이다. 아, 극복했어? 극복했어? 타빌라의 저주 극복했냐?
And our second contestant is Havoc.
귀여워. 하복.
Best of luck.
인계 맞고 왔냐고? 그렇다던데.
Our third contestant is I Am Exile.
타이타이 정도면 인기 많지. 귀여워 아맥달 너도 새끼.
Best of luck.
2등했으면 좋겠다.
And finally, our reigning champion, the winner of the
Thank you.
2019 Exile Con Race finale, we have Tai 23. Best of luck.
아 타이
All right, contestants,
우승자 출신.
take your
타이타이.
seats and let us know as soon as you're
타이를
ready.
저 타이 때문에 타이타이 킬러가 나온 거 아니야? 맞지? 쟤가 진짜 찐 타이임. 저 친구가
am
스피드러너로
incredibly
유명한
nervous and I
타이라는
do not even
친구인데
have to play the
쟤를
game yet.
잡는다고 나온 게 타이타이 킬러야. 근데 타이타이 킬러가 타이보다 더 유명해짐.
Previously
I
known
love
as the
to see
Cherry
it.
Boy, none of that anymore. What a gamer.
Absolutely shredded. Very nice. Looking in fine
재밌겠다.
form, both mentally and physically. But also, I'm seeing some intense focus
자막을
on the faces of Havoc, Taitai Killer, and
근데
I'm Exile.
자막
They are taking
끌게요
their
이거
marks,
화면 가리니까.
spamming their hotkeys, getting everything set up,
나도
getting
사라져 볼게.
their hotkeys and everything in order,
Oh yeah.
getting comfortable. Here we go. Whatever they need to focus themselves in these final 30 seconds. This is when like the nerves reach their peak right here.
Oh, this is when the focus.
Oh,
다
the
레인 정도
focus
소름
peak.
끼치네.
Yes, all right. So now what we're seeing here on stage is what they're playing Rangers. what the characters, players are going to be
예전에는
doing is
사보추 아니었음?
what's
아니 사보추는
called
다
dueling, which
그거
is
아니었음?
effectively
쉐
they roll a character,
뭐냐,
in this case the
구직이
Ranger,
아니었음?
in order to get a few specific things to give their subsequent
지금 페파가 제일 빠른가 보네.
He dropped
그때는
his burning
미쳤어요. 아,
arrow.
톡시맨이
Okay, those are
어서오세요.
listen.
그때는
Every
미쳤어요.
single second is going to count, and those are seconds that
섀도우도
do count.
있었던
I
것
do
같은데.
remember in the last ExileCon, there was a little bit of a problem for Tai 23. He described the
독풀이지
drop in the
않을까?
transmute and not being able to pick it up immediately as a
받아서 넘길 것 같다. 한번 봐보자.
difficult moment for
어차피
him.
스피드러너들 다 거기서
So-
거기라고.
sweaty fingers there at the beginning.
Oh, maybe he was asserting dominance, you know?
Maybe. Some sort of strange flex. But we
네,
are
맞아요.
seeing
큐티
the
맞아요.
players
큐티랑
on the Rangers right now. They're
지기비.
going to be taking down the first boss kill, like getting themselves a crucial momentum support.
어차피
They'll be using
일장에서
a combination of
결정난다던데.
Leaf Slam on their next
스피드러너들
character.
일장
Hopefully some very nice
빨리
events.
빨리
But
미네가
easy
1등 한대요.
transmutation for Tai Tai Killer there. Very nice. And a couple rare items actually dropping as well. So that early loot can make a pretty big difference. The characters need a lot of different currency and items, and especially sockets. Getting some early blue links. I did see some nice blue links there for Havoc actually. Can be crucial. The players need a red
뭐가
green
후루룩
link for
지나가는데.
Leaf Slam and momentum. They also
아,
need
할배로
some blue
하는구나.
sockets and some red sockets for the early game here as well.
하긴
And with the way
어차피
the vendors are at the moment, they can be quite static and it can be difficult to get some of those sockets that they
오장까지
need
미는 거라.
for the skills that they're going to use, and that can be quite tough. So now
사복
you see that the
신발까지
players
나왔냐고?
jumped
아,
over
물론
to
너무 빨라서 못
Templar
봤어.
after just finishing that Ranger, stashing everything in
아니,
the
저거
stash
롤링
and
마그마로
logging out.
밀걸요?
Now
롤링
that they're on the
마그마가
Templar, they'll be able to do this little run again
좋아가지고
here,
아마 롤링
and actually
마그마에
go and
그냥
retrieve
조약
that
강타
gear so
해가지고
that they can take it forward into the actual race proper. So we are seeing everyone's on Templar, no unexpected
존나까지도 안
surprises.
갈
If
것
you're going to be
같은데
racing, you
오장이라.
want to be racing on the
모르겠다.
best setup.
가보면
Although there
알
was
듯?
a lot of conversation about Duelist potentially being faster, but the thing about Duelist is
빌드를
that it's kinda
정해준 게
driven
아니라
by
스피드런이잖아요.
RNG. Not a whole lot of RNG when
답이
it comes to
있는
the
거예요.
Templar
가장 빠른
gameplay,
빌드가.
but there is one thing that might end up being a big deal, and that would be a chance orb
조건이
for
아니라 그냥
using
스피드런이란 걸
that
생각하면
chance
돼.
orb and get cremation. But
1등
we're gonna
하는
talk about
게임이잖아.
that more
그럼
once
답이
we
정해져
are in Act 3, but just keep that in mind.
얘네들
As the
전직도 안
players
할
are
거야.
already preparing for it.
I like seeing some unidentified boots for Tai Tai Killer.
Let's
Nice
go.
early
빠르다고 우리
movement
이렇게 하면 안
speed can make a big
됩니다.
difference. Long term, it doesn't actually. Oh, Tai fumbling a little bit with the stash there. Maybe a little bit of nerves, misclicking several times in a row, but he's okay. He's got there. But leaps in this particular racing
하복
meta right
빠르다.
now, movement speed not as big a deal, but if you do manage to get some early, it can make a pretty big difference. And that's because the players are leap slamming and using a lot of
하복도
movement skills
원래는
here,
되게
plus big
빠른
leap
편이긴
slam
있는데.
But didn't get any move speed there for Tai Killer that I saw, and I don't see any boots on Tai 23
근데 뭐
or
이거
Iron
갖고
Exile,
판단하기
so
좀
no major advantages there. And on Havoc we did see a white pair of boots, but it has got that 3 blue linked sockets, which is very handy for getting those early skills set up. So what you'll see is currently Rolling Magma linked to Elemental Proliferation just to get things started here. It's got really good damage. You can do some multi-hits with the bouncers, and you've got those Elemental Proliferations just to help with that pack clear a little bit. Moving into a dangerous zone here, Rise.
100%. So much importance in that positioning when it comes to the Magma Orb. But as we say that, we are in Mudflats. And like Ziggy mentioned, this is a difficult zone. I can see blue mobs on Killer's screen. Keep in mind that they are not, in fact, fire resistant, but will be very difficult to deal with. And most importantly, very time consuming to deal with. They might drop some items. These players do need a ton of transmutes for later on in Act 3 for a recipe, but also right now to buy all their gems. Maybe they can get a lightning warp. Those are very important things for some of the skips later on. And as you can see, there's a lot going on each of these players' screens. They're really maxing out their APM, trying to go as fast as possible. There's so many things to take care of. But what's most important in this zone is survivability. So you want to get evasion, you want to get armor. Oh, a transmute for Tai Killer. He's definitely going to backtrack for that. That's a very important item. As Exile at the bottom left is struggling right now with all of these Roas. So many white and blue Roas as he runs past what I believe is a 3-link. These players' filters are set up to the maximum. They're really min-maxed. They're always telling them what's dropping and what they need and don't need to backtrack for. Very important aspect of this race.
Yeah, literally customized filters with specific audio cues for specific items, even down to things like actual sockets and weapon setups. And this is an actual, like, really interesting and unusual racing meta that we have right now as well. Different from anything that I've seen in Path of Exile history, where players are playing a spellcaster and leap slamming with melee weapons despite still spellcasting. That's thanks to some rather unique and interesting passive skills and some interesting crafting options that the players can take advantage of here, as well as a recent change to leap slam momentum. And it all comes together to create a actually a really
good Exile. What is happening on his screen? There's just so many blue mobs, but he's taking care of them wonderfully. Those double taps from the Magma Orb. Wow, that was really, really well played by Exile. It's a very difficult pack of mobs to deal with. And some players might be listening to this and they're like, why aren't they talking about Havoc being in the lead? Well, he is. But there's so many things that these players have to take care of. There's so many things that they have to worry about that, depending on the sort of RNG that you're going to be getting at this stage of the game, you're going to be saving or losing a little bit of time. But you can already see that they are level 4. They do have their Frost Blink, which is very important for that animation cancel on the backswing of Leaf Slam. And we've got Firewall in place as well to empower the Magma Orb and deal a little bit more damage. There's also a little bit of variety in these strategies that we're seeing from Tai Killer. You can see that he does have the banner, and Tai 23 also has the banner, but another thing that has been a big controversial subject is the fact that Havoc doesn't use Holy Flame.
Yeah. Did he just
Oh, he just
He's changed his mind, right?
He's changed his mind. Okay, see, that's what I like to hear, because in the qualifiers, he was pretty adamant about it being kind of a waste of time.
I was on board with that line of thinking. It does take a long time to put it down, and you've already got your other skills doing a lot of damage at this point, but you know, here we go, just every little bit of extra damage squeezed out has been deemed worth it here. So we've got 3 fire skills, as you see. 2 of them shoot projectiles, and the flame walls can help boost that damage up. So there can be quite a bit of damage stacked. It's actually a really interesting skill setup and quite high skill ceiling, as the players need to position themselves and the totem and the flame wall correctly.
Chance Orb for Tai Killer. Exile has like 3 transmutes too. This RNG is cranked up. I guess something that we haven't mentioned is that if you watch the qualifiers, you would know about this.
절 빌드로 보시면 안 돼요.
is set.
스피드런이에요,
They all
스피드런.
have
뭐냐면
the exact
도장까지
same
그냥
fixed
빨리
seed
쓰는 걸
layout.
해서 그냥 때려치는 거예요.
It's a bitsy exception.
Yes, Einhard.
빌드라고 말하기도
Yeah, we
좀
wouldn't call
그래.
it a bug. It's more of a happy accident. So if you do see
여러분
Einhard,
액티밀 때
you're
태파집인
wondering
거 빌드라고
why is
합니까?
that zone
그냥
different?
액티밀은
It's
스킬이라고
because,
얘기하잖아.
Einhard doesn't follow any
He's
rules.
그런
a different
느낌이라고
kind of
생각하시면
beast, so
빌드가
to
아닌
speak.
빌드가.
He not follow the rules. He makes the zones however he sees fit.
Yep.
So if Einhard does appear in anyone's zone, their layout will be a little bit different as a result. But otherwise, all of the layouts are the same, and it comes down to getting what's called the read on the layout, and that's a crucial racing skill that is hard to see if you
Yeah.
haven't watched a lot of Path of Exile, done some racing yourself. But there's so many different variations of each zone that they can be, and it's procedurally generated, but there are rules, there are tricks, there are all sorts of things that the players can learn for each and every layout that gives them a bit of a clue as to where the exit's going to be, where the crucial quest objectives are going to be, even things like where a pack of magical blue monsters might be, which is a lot of extra
나는 다른 점에서 타이라는
Exactly so.
친구가
And some players would
대단한데
argue that the layout reads really are the most crucial aspect
다
of racing
잡았으면서.
past a certain point. Obviously,
안
it's
죽었네.
incredibly mechanically demanding. Like, you can
이게
see exactly how much is
무슨
happening on screen,
작품인가.
how many things these players have to worry about.
대단한데.
3 transmutes and a Chancellor for Tai Killer. You really love to see it. Exile doing great on those transmutes as well as players are heading over to Brutus. I don't think we're going to be
어느 나라
seeing a
사람인지
whole lot
모르겠어요.
of ascendancy doing. Havok's screen freezes. What is happening? We're having a technical difficulty.
어?
I
아
don't want to see that. Hopefully
이건
we can
좀
get it squared away very quickly there.
Uh-oh.
You have a black screen.
이거 퍼즈 걸어야 되는 거
That does
아님?
not seem right. Havok restarting his game.
He's logging back in. We'll see if we can find
죽겠다.
anything about that soon. It was right at the very start of the zone. We'll see if we can find out any extra information about that in just a moment. But for the moment,
이거
Tai
느낌도
Killer
못해.
and I'm Exile have been making their way through the lower prison into the upper
아,
prison
개빡칠
now.
것 같은데,
All of
나는.
them pretty similar in terms of progression through the zones right now. With unfortunately
아, 길도 나도 찾아야
having
되네.
to rerun that lower prison as it looked like the instance did die and the zone was lost. Quite an upset, but
1분
definitely nothing
1초가
that's going to keep
소중한
them down.
스피드런에서
But right now, the race is very close.
한 30초 멈춰 있지 않았어?
The race is most definitely very
일
close. I
있었냐고?
wonder if we're going to get
저
some sort
스웨스.
of ruling on this. I could
컴퓨터
see
멈췄음.
visibly how disappointed
저것
Havok
때문에
was
지지
in the
스피드런 무조건 저것 때문에
situation.
질걸요?
But if there's one player who can mentally
그래도 빨리
recover from
찾았다고?
this and persevere,
그래도
it is
거지
him.
같은
He really
시간 많이
does have
걸려서
the
있었는데.
experience.
We need a
I fully believe.
I need a lag switch so that you can like manually lag everyone else if someone does lag, and just like even it out.
Yep, that would
That'd be
just
cool.
saying, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
All right, we have
지금 찐타이가
Exile, Tai Killer,
1등.
and Tai 20.
Oh, rewarded with a Chancellor. Sorry to intrude, Ziggy, but Havok gets rewarded with a Chancellor. So,
He's farming.
yeah, no RNG for
찐타이가
him.
1등이고.
That's definitely going to help.
He's farming. That's it. We're moving into the Brutus fight
하복
now,
저걸
which is
안
a
걸렸으면
fight that's
하복도
very
저기
big on. I
있었을
talked about that
텐데.
positioning earlier with those skills and the player positioning, and the Brutus fight really
멘탈 이미
rewards good
나갔을
positioning in
것
terms of
같은데.
safety
그냥
and
헤어지면
also a
어떡해.
lot more damage.
나갔다고
They
하나
hit the turret
때릴
on
수
the
없어.
other side of that flame wall, the flame wall
헤어지면.
on the boss, themselves firing through the flame wall and double bounce hitting the boss. Then they can maximize their damage and bust their safety.
브루투스 이미
And we
잡았을
see an
걸?
excellent kill from I'm Exile and Tai 23 only moments behind as well. Tai Killer kind of drawing Brutus into a corner here, and
일장이
moving
되게
around a lot
제일
more, which
길고
is slowing him down.
스피드런 할 때
Getting to
일장이 되게
stay
중요하다
in
그러더라고.
position,
근데
locked into one
일장에서
of his slam
저래버리면 좀
combos. It goes very low there with a chain pull. The flask is empty. He has no flask whatsoever right now.
The only way he can heal is from the Holy Flame Totem.
The regen on the ground there. But
혹시
he's just
토토 안
gonna knock it.
하냐고요?
Yeah, that's his strategy. He does a bit close. Right,
오케이.
making me quite
Oh
nervous
my
there, mate. He gets through though.
저건
Gotta say,
1.
very nicely done.
Yeah, but you can immediately
토토
see how
열어드리겠습니다.
difficult those fights are. Tai engaged Brutus
아, 어디
before
보자.
Exile, and yet finished
타이
last. So how you perform in these fights can make a tremendous difference. And that being said, Havok
타이.
fully caught up and ahead of Tai Killer, having already
Look at
dealt
him
with his
go.
Brutus. Yeah, some
See.
real good stuff. It doesn't seem to be having
자,
the
5분
most
걸어드리도록
RNG. That game crash was
경밀정이냐고?
incredibly unfortunate.
도박해
and
토토하자.
yet, he's
나는
blasting.
일단 암액잘.
This is the Havoc that I know.
If you were worried about that
나는
little
팬심으로
technical
암흑자.
difficulty there, that little hiccup, then look at him go,
5분
making that ground up
5분 동안
very
생각하고
quickly.
가십시오.
Very nice.
Ooh,
길게
okay,
걸어줬습니다.
Excel's getting an acceleration
사설
shrine. He picks it
도박한다고?
up. Every player gets the same amount of shrines. The only difference is going to be in the mob type and the mob density that the players are going to be getting.
참고로
But when it comes to
암액자리
shrines,
1장 존나
they have to
연습했어요.
find it.
If
So
they don't find it,
I do
then
believe. Well, it's
kind of right there.
yeah.
Yeah, we've
They
got Ty 23
sees
getting it as well. We'll see
성소까지
if
먹었-
Spectacular and Havoc also manage
타이
to get some
성공
strikers.
먹었네. 다
Acceleration
이속
Shrine
성소네.
is
꽤
certainly
크거든요.
big for getting through a big open zone that is essentially is just skipped like this. So all players will definitely want to pick up that same shrine, otherwise they're losing a little bit of time to those that did. But we see Ty 23 and IMEXILE taking a little bit of a lead here in terms
자,
of
하복은
progression.
아까 억가 좀
But,
당했죠.
as we were kind of hinting
하지만
at
역전을 할 수
earlier,
있을지.
Pacific Racing is
참고로
very
이
exciting
레이스는
because
죽으면
you never
1분
really know
퍼즈임,
who's in the
1분
lead,
퍼즈.
and it sometimes can take
반전
until
있을
the
수도
last
있다.
moments of a race
혹시나
until
죽게
you know
되면
who's actually won it, because
Correct.
1분
while
동안
someone
마을에서
could be a
멈춰야
zone
된다는
or even
거.
2 zones ahead, they might
5장까지입니다.
have
5장,
skipped a lot of
5타박까지.
monsters, maybe missed some extra items and things like that
그치,
that are going to hold
기름도
them
있어야
back
돼.
a little bit later down the line, and that sort of thing can snowball.
페널티가
as
상당히
well.
세요.
Havoc
그래서
finds
어떻게 뒤집어질 수도 있어요.
declaration,
They both did.
and
모두는 안
he
걸렸습니다.
finds a Quicksilver
Ooh,
flask.
another
So
Quicksilver.
it definitely helps. I mean, Tai, we talked we talked about how the movement speed isn't as important as it used to be because of the leap slam action, but Tai Killer repeatedly admitted in the past that
하복
he's
이제
a
보니까
runner.
수원이 두
You know,
개네요.
depending on the
이러면
sort of
좀 얘기가
playstyle that
달라지죠.
players have, some people really neglect movement speed and they only worry about sockets on those boots. But Tai Killer really likes running around, so if he were to be the one who got the Quicksilver, I think he would be very happy. But no, it's going to be Havoc. You know, Chris turning on the RNG after that technical issue.
That's it. In some zones, the movement speed is a big
Ticklish
help when you
is
can't
even
quite
actually.
really... Ooh, nice skip there for Havoc, actually.
Oh, let's go!
Yeah, I like
Havoc really
that.
cleaning it up.
Yeah, saving a solid 10, 15 seconds there with that skip,
아메리카는 이제
cutting the
목표까지
zone
잡으면
very
되네.
short. Excellent.
머베일 타이랑
Just
아메리카는
getting
벌써
some
머베일.
information here a
사실 이
little bit.
밑에 두
I'll let
명이
Rise
제일
decipher that for a
늦었거든요,
moment.
시작은.
Well, IMEXILE moves into the Merveil fight, and Ty 23 also into the Merveil fight. Neck and neck here through the
지금
first
리그
phase.
뒤집니다, 지금
Halfway
리그.
down. This can be a very tricky fight because she can be quite uncooperative in her positioning and teleporting and things like that. It's also quite a dangerous fight, getting mispositioned and eating barrage, and we have seen some of these players go down to the Merveil fight before, getting caught in one of the water
일장이
pillars
제일
here in
길어서
the second
일장이 제일
phase and
중요할 텐데.
trying to jump out of the way and land
일단
it
이러면
in the
이제
screech of
아메리카랑
Merveil can do a lot of
찐타이
damage. There's also chilling
가
and the
빠르네요.
exploding squids. It's a nasty combination. So far doing well. But
하복이
Ty 23
모베일이
going
먼저
quite low
들어왔어요.
there,
타이타이
eating the
킬러보다.
edge of the screech and kind of being caught against a pillar, but does manage to get out of there and scoops up quite a lot of rare loot and the first kill as a result, with IMEXILE only moments behind, not quite as much loot, but getting that kill squared away and moving into the jungle.
타이는
Havoc
낯선 분인데
is up
잘하시네요.
next on the Merveil kill. Let's cheer him on. and see
타이타이
how he
킬러는
goes
아시죠?
in his first phase.
저 양반 저격하려고 만든 게 타이타이
They're more
킬러.
concerned about the first or second phase. Both can be quite lethal, but I've seen more upsets in the second phase here. But very quick Merveil kills from Havoc here.
스피드런은
So clean,
스피드런
so
1등.
good.
네 번째가.
Kind of getting pushed off for a
전
little bit.
챔피언이라고
Second
생각하면 돼.
phase, second half of the second phase, but he gets back on her.
본체보다 더 유명한
there.
타이타이
She
킬러.
teleports in place, which is
저격을 어떻게
perfect.
저격하는 거냐고?
Yeah.
아니 그러니까
Very
스피드러너로
good.
유명을
That's
하니까
a lot.
타이타이
That's a
킬러가
lot. He's got full inventory.
타이타이를 죽여버린다는
That's a
아이디를
big difference because the
만들고
players need
했는데
8
제가 더
transmutes
유명해진
for
거라니까.
crucial crafts
그래서
down the
내가
line we'll talk about
찐타이라고.
later. So getting all those extra early rares to sell, you can identify a few good ones
그래서
and sell
찐타이라고.
unidentified a few others to get those transmute shards, which can be super crucial.
태초에는
Yeah, and that inventory
말이다.
management is so important.
어,
You really never
잡겠다,
want to
널
be spending
잡겠다
any
이런
time on
의미로
having your
스피드런
inventory be
계획에서 널
full and
잡겠다
you're
이런
moving
의미로 만든 건데.
around and picking it up. That's just not what you want to be seeing. Havoc gets a transmute as 타이타이 Killer
타이타이 킬러
still
유명해지기 타벨라 먹고
battling
우승
for
못해서인가요?
fail. It is very difficult to use your banner correctly to
그 영향도 있지
blast
않나.
her
오늘 그래서
away.
타블라티 입고
And
왔던데.
you know, it might look a little bit slower, but really, I don't think so. It really just all depends on how much time he was spending in town to prep himself up for the future. And with that being said, he will be the last player to enter
타이타이
the most
킬러는
confusing of acts ever, Act 2.
병원을
So
갔다
in this
와가지고
one,
오늘
players
오늘인가
will be
어젠가
doing
병원
different
갔다
things. There's
응급실에
gonna be
갔다
different
와가지고 아무래도
strategies. We've definitely
컨디션
seen that
난조가
in the
있나 봅니다. 속도가
qualifiers.
상당히
Different
느리죠.
players helping different bandits, prioritizing resistance, sometimes skill points. There's different break points that you want to reach. it's very important that you optimize your XP. And something that helps with that is killing less monsters and getting more passives from quests. So
비등비등한데.
Act 2 is a very crucial act in that regard. And let's try and pay
아직
attention
죽진
as to how
않았습니다.
much is
죽은
happening as
사람은
Titanic runs into a giant shrine. And those bears are dangerous. We were talking
아직
about
몰라요.
this earlier. But if you saw players losing HP very quickly when it came to Merveil, that's just because they're going so fast. And they can't afford to spend the time to really improve their character from the defensive point of
우리
view.
예측은
They just need to power it up as
찐타이랑
much as
아메짤이
possible.
Havoc
비등비등하네.
just farming a lot of
35%.
currency here. He's got rare gloves, orb of chance, plenty of scrolls, and he's got another acceleration shrine in a rather crucial zone, the Chamber of Sins. That can be used
머슴의
either to
머리
get through the
민다고?
zone very quickly or farm up a lot of experience, as there is guaranteed and set
로스 폰으로
magic
봐도
monster
찹니다.
packs in
연동만
certain
잘
places in
해놓으셨으면.
this zone that the players will know. And he uses it to get through that zone very quickly while scooping a little bit of XP in the meantime, looking very good there. And not everyone, people have had different zone clears these last few
아우
zones.
예거
It's been rather interesting.
와이스터님
Yeah.
구독 감사합니다.
Definitely so.
고맙습니다.
And so many acceleration shrines though.
We have almost tied kills for I'm Exile and Ty23 on Fidelitas there, with an acceleration shrine to speed things up a little bit. And Havoc and Tai Killer not too far behind. Havoc currently just
우리
about heads for the boss,
아메짤리는
and
어떻게 보면
Tai Killer
이제
just
루키,
a little bit of a
피우이
zone
루키죠.
behind in Chamber of Sins 1 now. He does manage to
따지고
get that
보면
shrine as well.
Uh-oh.
Through to the second zone.
Exile sees
이름
Ty
알리기
enter the
이제 그렇게
riverways
오래되진
in front
않았는데.
of him. I wonder how
성적이
much
워낙
of a
좋아가지고.
motivating push that is.
I love it.
Yeah, you always love to see that they are in fact playing on the same realm from the looks of it, so they are going to be seeing each other in town.
I'm Exile just getting caught in a circle there. Fire.
That was so dangerous. If that was PoE too, he'd be dead.
He absolutely would have been. He would have been
The
taken out.
stuns are so deadly.
Absolutely brutal. He
블루한드
does,
먼저
I mean,
보는
Path of
게
Exile
밑에
1 still has some
둘이라서
tricks up
그러게
its
초반은 확실히
sleeve,
그런
nonetheless,
큰가 봐요.
even after a decade
차이가
of
큰가 봐,
practice and
저런 식으로.
play here from these players, some of them at least. But very nice escape there from IMXL. I love that he's slammed down the banner during that very scary situation to get adrenaline, which is what that warbender is used for. Honestly, there's so many little details and nuances in the race that even if we speak 100 miles an hour like we
템은 좀
are, we're not going to be able to
붙어주면-
cover all of them. But the banner slamming that down for the adrenaline is not something that all of them take advantage of, and I'm Exile did there to try and save themselves, and it looks like it just worked.
That is correct. There's players are going to be continuing a little bit of vendoring from Tai Killer, making sure that he's got everything that he needs, and you can see how quickly these players have to deal with that. Havoc micromanaging his inventory, maybe a little bit upset after all that loot being left behind on Merveil, making sure that he's
좀
ready. He's
걷어차야겠다고?
always clicking, he's always
한골이
running, and
친구가
while doing
하코
so,
레이서
you have to
출신입니다.
micromanage your inventory. It's a huge aspect of racing. The more time that you have, the
레이스
more time
2등, 만년 2등.
you have to kill
1등도 한 적
monsters.
있지만.
As Amexile runs into another blue pack.
시간 얼마나
Very favorable
지났냐고요?
blue packs for
글쎄요,
all
몇 시에
players so far
시작했죠?
that we've
한
seen.
10분 지난 것
Nobody
같은데
really won
모르겠다.
kind of
세보진
XP,
않아서.
and that again is a big factor here. Massive shrine for Ty23 as he engages Weaver.
타이머가 없어서.
Will this be enough damage? That might
한국
be enough
있으니까
AoE.
1등 한국 돈은 한 1200원
he drops the
들더라고요.
banner late, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have dropped it a little bit earlier, would have lasted just a
내가 걸 순
split
없죠.
second longer. Might have allowed him to kill it.
Yeah,
Same
there-
situation for Exile.
1, 2,
There
4등
was
다
a day
죽긴
where
하는데
people
1등이
could
1000만
get
원
the kill
넘어.
on the first phase of the Weaver, but it's very hard to pull off nowadays. But
It's quite random, yeah.
I'm Exile. Just taking the opportunity through the ad phase here, do a little bit of gear management and tactically organizing your inventory so that you
스피드런은
can fit more
4개월마다
items
주는 건
into it
아니지.
when the loot does drop, or just know where everything is
몇
and
분
get
지났는지
those things
모르겠다.
socketed, get items crafted, all of
해보진
that sort of
않았어.
stuff. There's so much stuff to manage on the fly, and
넘었나?
you'll see players do
한
things
20분
like
됐나?
click the
모르겠는데.
vendor and then manage your inventory while they're running through town. And then while they're loading into the next zone, so all that sort of little shaving off moments here.
방송
But a
안
nice
할걸요?
Weaver kill
퓨이도 안
time
함,
is
얘.
a little longer, but he gets it
퓨이도
done
안 돼요.
cleanly and gets a bit of
접었는데
housekeeping done in the meantime.
전
Havoc also
시즌
kind of
네 맞아요
taking the
만달러예요.
opportunity to do the same thing
지금 딱
here.
1등
Looks like
만달러.
everybody that I saw got their massive shrine, so that does add a lot of sentiment to that
접었는데
Weaver
전,
fight, as
전에
it grants a lot
에콘
of
때
extra hit
우승자라서
points.
초대받아서
Yeah, I
온
absolutely
건데
think so.
이렇게 잘해.
Tactical interesting. I caught a couple times that he's been picking up a lot of blue items. but he just picked up a sword, which you can vendor blue items for either transmutes or alterations if you need them, but then immediately drop the transmute after. I wonder if he's gonna continue with the same strategy, as Ty23 will be the first person
원조
to take
맞지?
down Creighton. That was a little bit of a strategy too. Some people were helping Creighton for the additional movement speed, but oh my god, with all these acceleration shrines, as you can see on Amexo's screen, yeah.
Looks like we've got another shrine race. We had one of the qualifiers where there was just a crazy amount of shrines, and it looks like we might be having a little bit of a repeat of that, a themed race, if you will. It's good old Domination League back for this race.
진짜
Very
빠르다,
cool. Havoc moving
쟤는.
into that Creighton fight and getting a double shrined up for a very
현역들
safe
찍어
and fast
누르는
Creighton
스피드는
kill. We're seeing
속도네.
Path of Exile 1 boss kills for racing now are very fast, and we're seeing faster than ever with a lot of these shrines here. Very nice stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty good to get a record time.
아, 연습은 다른 애들도 다 했어.
I felt like we had that last time or something as well, like a record. I
다른
would
애들
love
다
to
한
see
건
something like that.
똑같은데.
Yeah, that's part of the
나머지 세
game
명이
too,
현역이잖아.
probably something that these players need to get used to is how much faster all of the loading screens are and how much more smooth the game is when playing in a live setting. I do remember
So good.
some of our past players mentioned how just clean and steady it is. I think they're getting a little bit stuck there. Trying to... Oh, he didn't have a lightning warp. There's a little bit of a strategy where you can jump with lightning warp to
여기
the Creighton
지금
area
찐타이가 가는 저
from
맵
just
있죠.
that
저
ledge, but
맵이
sometimes it's closed off, sometimes it's open.
진짜
Sometimes you have
운빨이래.
transmute, sometimes you have
여기 와서 올
a
수가
lightning
없다던데.
warp. Oh, Ty Killer!
accidentally exited the game. Oh no, a little smirk there. He's back in there though, nice and quick. A little bit
wow.
of a mistake,
왜,
but
무슨
he
일이야?
gets it up and going very quickly. Very nice stuff. Yeah,
못 봤어.
trying to the players use
중속 게임 했어,
logout
방금?
as a feature to get back to town really quickly instead of using a portal scroll, which can take a little longer and uses the resource. The
강조한 거
logout,
아니야?
that used correctly gets you
웃는 거
right back to
보니까
town
강조한 거
very quickly
같은데?
as you just mash that enter key and get
캐선
straight
누르려다가?
back in the action.
아니야, 저거
Closing out of the game, just
강종한
has
거야,
a few
실수로.
seconds where you have to reboot the game, and can also
캐선
these
누르려다가.
little
무섭잖아.
mistakes can kind of rattle you a little bit as well, just give you a little bit of jitters. But the nerves on the stage, it's.
I mean, I saw the smile. I saw he immediately
he's like-
smiled.
He's like, oops.
That's not even that big of a
Alright,
deal.
yeah, it's fine.
It might be though.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to freak out Ty Killer. Okay, listen, last ExileCon, we brought a lot of attention to Ty
친구는
Killer
혹시
right
맵
before
픽혀져
the
있나요?
race. And I'm sure he's focusing on not listening
혹시
this time, but I
그
do know
찐타이
in
맵
fact that during his
팩혀져 있는지
practice,
확인
was
좀
blasting the
해주실래요?
caster
좀
voices
이상한데
the
좀
whole way
킹이를 잘
through.
탔죠?
Can in fact hear.
아니 그래도 현역이 이겨줘야 좀 자존심이
for every single
있지.
one of the qualifiers. And he
야,
said
현역이
it was
이겨야 되는 거
super effective,
아닙니까?
Yeah.
And he doesn't afraid of anything anymore.
So
평소
what we're
얘기라고?
talking about is Tata Killer was talking in the past about the idea that like something that's very
찐타이가
true,
제일
which is
빨라요.
like playing the game up on stage, the bright studio lights
이 정도면
shining
POE
on you,
하시지.
the crowd, the casters speaking over
네,
you,
게임도 안
distracting
하는데.
you.
뭐
An
연습했겠지, 이번에
uncomfortable different
참여하면서
setup, a different
연습했겠지만.
desk, all of this stuff makes a big difference. I know this time that a lot of players like bought their own kit.
성소 위치를 아는 것 같아.
Tata Killer
괜히
talked about
정해져 있는 그
practicing in
위치를 아는
adverse
것 같아.
conditions intentionally
CC에서
in
POE를 안
order
한
to
거였나?
prepare for the race. And I love that level.
I think probably all of
아,
them.
다 외웠다.
kind of-
노잼.
getting, getting into character for
그런 것
being
같은데.
alive and
찐타이가
in,
요거- 요-
such
이
a
친구입니다, 이
foreign
친구.
environment
네
for
번째.
racing, not in the comfort of your own
요거는
home.
짭타이.
Very different thing. But sometimes these things can also bring out the
4번입니다,
best in people too, right? Like,
These are gonna be
찐타이는
crazy
CC에서
times, though. I'm
24레벨인가
just watching all
오버헬더를
these
잡았죠.
shrines. The density is ridiculous. You really, in these early acts, you really care about
뭐지,
getting as many
접었는데
mobs
돈
as
준다는데
possible. Because every mob that
가야겠다.
you get is one less mob that you have to
1000만
worry
원
about
껌.
later on. Because eventually the players will outlevel the zones significantly to the point
방송을 안 하니까 뭐
where
그런
a
걸
penalty will kick in. And they won't be getting as much XP. At that point, all
4번이
that you're going to
찐타이.
worry about is keeping up your flask, making sure you stay alive, and leap slamming to... Oh, sorry. I miss... I thought I saw something, but I didn't. Just
그냥 뭐
into the
마스크 쓰고
sunset.
싶나 보네.
Leap slamming into the sunset.
nice. I'm Exile picking up a nice alchemy in the caverns. Very nice. Able to craft
게임하는
something up
너드는
here,
몸 좋으면 안
and
되는 거
actually bring up
아닐까요?
the perfect time for
아,
a bit of
맞아.
management as they wait
찐타이
for
몸도
Val
겁나
to
좋더라고,
arrive. The next
보니까.
major boss the players are moving towards at this point.
얼굴도
It's
저
an excellent
정도면
time to
엄청
do a little bit of
잘생긴 거
crafting,
아니에요?
things like that. So we'll maybe be able to get a little bit of an assessment of where the
물론
players are
마스크
at
끼긴
gear-wise.
했지만.
Everyone's got their gear slots filled. Havoc's gear looking a little bit ramshackle in places. You know, a rarity amulet's not necessarily
원래 저런 몸 아니었어?
the thing you want,
어디
but
사람인지 모르겠어.
gear in each slot is honestly a blessing in a race like this when you're going so fast. Sometimes you can be like,
사복도
oh, I didn't have
운동하는 걸로
gloves equipped
아는데
this whole time.
사복도 몸 좋은 걸로
Certainly,
아는데
but oh my god, there's acceleration shrines just everywhere.
They are everywhere. This is rigged, right? Can we get confirmation? Is this rigged?
Can we get confirmation of that? Tai23 is the first to
와, 벌써 못
activate
쓰죠?
Val here and is doing a little bit of that inventory management. We see a little bit of gear swapping. throwing
와
some steel
차이가
blades
좀
on the
많이
ground.
나는데?
Looks like he's got some 3 links set up.
그나마
action
아렉자리
there.
좀 희망이
I
있네.
don't see
I see a fusing for Tai23. I don't see a chance or a fusing for Amexile.
he's got his 8
일단 아렉-
transmutes already sorted though, which is so good. 'Cause that's
짤이랑
actually
타이
really early.
중에서 1등 할
Solaris
듯?
and in the next act.
여기서도
So
2등 하는
he's
거야
got that
액자리를?
currency squared away,
맘
which
아프다.
any extra can be used for crafting. So very good stuff there. So I'm Exile. Going into that Val fight,
만년
second.
2등.
Tai23
근데 내가
is
나는
halfway,
만년
well,
2등이어서
well,
아메짱
into the Val
응원하는
fight
거야.
here. The Val fight can have a little bit of variance depending on
네,
if Val
배는 안
decides to stick
나오는데.
around or dip
Yeah.
early in the fight. And so far looking fairly cooperative for Tai23. Did duck away for one moment there, but goes into an ice
탈락이야?
casting phase, which is the perfect time for Tai23 to secure the kill there in very short order.
왜
We'll
이렇게
see how
빨리
things
잡히지?
go for I'm Exile down in the bottom left now. And
튕긴
so far,
사람만 엄청
so good. He
밀렸다고?
did duck away there just
튕긴
before
사람은
dying,
얘야.
just a little bit,
지금
unfortunately.
타이타이 킬러
Time to that.
꼴등임.
Yeah,
튕긴
and
애보다
he's
타이타이
seeing,
킬러가
I
더
mean, as you're fighting
늦은
Vol, it's
거예요.
not exactly the most engaging fight for these players. He's got a big hitbox. It's easy to hit those magma
got
orbs.
his number.
But one thing
타이타이 왜 이렇게
that
밀렸냐고?
might have bothered some of these players is seeing
컨디션이 있을
Tai23
수도?
to be the first person to enter Act 3. As Act 3, again, the game becomes a little bit more difficult. Act 1 tends to be the most difficult act.
세가슴
Act
킬러는 어쩔 수
2
없는.
is kind of on the easier side, so I'm
응급실 갔다
pretty
오는
sure that
중이라서.
there's a big side of relief from a
긴장을
lot of
좀
these
하는
players.
스타일인 것
Oh,
같으니까.
Titan Killer. Oh, what a layout. Wait a minute, did we see that? I completely was not seeing
How
that.
is there no connection over there? We haven't seen too many zone misreads or big dead
타이타이
ends.
킬러는
that
오프라인에
I've
좀
noticed
힘들어하는
at
것
least, and Tai Killer unfortunately gets a very big one there and has to backtrack of basically an entire zone there.
That is crazy big.
Unfortunate. Not what he wants at this point, where he's just a little bit of an act
아,
of a
차이 많이
zone behind the other
난다니.
players. So don't want to be having those situations in order to get that catch
일단
up.
뭐
He's still
4등은
got plenty of time
확정인데
to catch
타이타이
up, though,
킬러가.
and we'll see how he does as he moves into the Val kill. Just now, he's got a little bit of time. We can take a look at his gear. We see Tai23 filling out one of the clusters there, and I did actually want to talk about one of the things here that the players are taking advantage of. So you'll notice that they have Leap Slam, and earlier in the game, a lot of them will have been weapon swapping over to melee weapons because you need a melee weapon in order to Leap Slam. Dual wielding is faster, and certain weapon types are faster. Now you'll see, for example, on Havoc's screen right now, you can see an axe and a sword, and that's the ideal setup. Interestingly, though, in the current racing setup, the players will actually use that
시간은 따로
for
표시가 없는데.
spellcasting as well, and that's because there is a very cool dual wielding node that
대충
gives
1시쯤에
attack and cast
시작하셨다고
speed, so both
생각하시면
the movement
돼요.
speed and damage for their spells, but also the mastery when they take that full cluster can give 50% increased damage, which is a huge amount of damage at this early point of the game. If you're using two different weapons, so
성소훈이
that's why they have that sword and axe. Such a cute and interesting little
성소훈이
thing that the players
미쳤어.
have discovered and taken advantage of here. That's created a kind of a unique little racing style. So very cool.
아니
to see.
성소의 신임
Two shrines for
타이가.
Tai23, two shrines from Amexile, but Amexile, no acceleration. But he is catching up. It's very close. Tai23 will be the first person to take down, well, almost take down.
성소 위치를 외우고 있다 쳐도 가속
Jump
성소만 계속
share
나오니까 대단한 거.
Amexile right behind Tai23. You
스피드런의
can see
그
that
신이
Bender movement is so clean. You
보살펴주는
can see him running halfway
친구네.
across the screen while talking to the vendor, giving him a chance to
스피드런하는
do
컨셉으로
that in
사도까지도
town.
가능하냐고요?
So trade up your
불가능합니다.
inventory and then keep moving. Again, these are the sort of tricks that you really have to nail, and it's very difficult because the timing is a little bit different in the live setting for sure.
There's some excellent movement going on for Havoc, I've been noticing, moving through some tricky
네,
zones
이속
with a
때문에
lot of
갑박은
doors. And the way the players are working is they're doing the leap slam and then chasing it with the frost.
자, 아마도 이 아멕자를 아니면 타이 둘 중 한 명이
and it'll just look like they're actually just levitating sometimes.
Oh yeah.
오 똑같아요 똑같아요.
Just fly
지금 둘이
multiple
똑같죠?
screens
똑같은
across
정도예요.
the-
아멕자
But
다
it's
따라왔어요.
really hard to do that perfectly whilst turning corners and going through doors, and the doors are closed. But the
seeing
best players
another-
can do that, and Havoc was just crushing
오,
it.
가속 성소.
And IMEXILE
아메자 가속 성소 나왔죠? 여기서 이 미친 타이 또 가속 성소 나왔어요. 돌았네 진짜.
This is not right. Well, this is a very important zone. The sewers. It's because it's where the rats live. But
이게
also
쪼렙 성소는 좀
because
정해져
you need
있긴
the bus, you gotta
한데
pick up the busts.
나오는 성소만 나오거든요. 쪼렙
Very
성소는.
important. That was another
드디어.
aspect of the qualifiers that was very different for different players. Some players were going for
많이
those
따라잡았죠?
busts and getting that extra passive. Some other players not so much, as I believe Havoc was dropping low.
Yeah, you
Instead.
got caught in a blue pack there. There can be some dangerous monsters here in the zoo.
네,
Some
똑같이
of
하는 것 같아요. 공평하게
those
하려고.
undying grapplers and things like that. But he gets through there.
고정해준 것
alright.
같아요.
A little bit of help from the shrines.
아까 안 하려고.
Look like a rare 2-stone ring maybe, and the rare boots as well.
Rings
the
are
ghost
cool.
maybe for a bit of oh, there's that acceleration shrine.
Yep.
Oh, yes, get that. Thanks.
Yeah, the rings are
우리
so
타이타이 킬러도
important.
많이
As I
사랑해주세요.
began to
4번을
talk
걸면.
about it a little bit. Act 3 is where the game becomes difficult, but it's not necessarily because the mobs hit harder or anything like that. It's because they're beginning to use different types of attacks, different abilities, different elements. And so for that reason, you're going to have to prepare your inventory to be able
위에는
to
3,
switch out
4위전,
to
밑에는
different
1,
setups
2등전이거든요.
of gear. If you're fighting Dominus, you might want some lightning resistance. If you're running through
아멜짤이 먼저
Crematorium,
들어갔죠.
you want fire resistance, right? If you're fighting Piety, well, depending on the player, you might go with different sort of setups.
몰라요.
As
이
I do
정도면 사실
believe the
갔다고 봐야
players will be
됩니다.
able to still abuse some of the portal tech
아마
to
저게
exit
이제
the fight and reset the
노란색 글자로
portals, which
전광판이
might
뜨기
make
때문에
Piety significantly
저것도 은근히 이제
easier
멘탈적으로 좀 그게
than
있거든요. 지금
how
타이 같은
other
경우에는
players would do it
본인이 계속
typically.
전광판 띄우다가 이제
Some are doing that in
아메짤이
part of
띄우는 거
Exile
보고
too, but now
살짝
they
속도를
take
더 내는 것
through
같아.
portals. We'll see how that goes. Got Taitai Killer moving through his sewer kill there, getting back into a little bit of a corner, but uses the opportunity to kill a few extra monsters, so not too bad a situation to be in. Havoc just picking up, guess what? It's another acceleration shrine in the battlefront there. He does leave.
긁히거든요,
and,
저거.
That was a little bit of a he's backtracking to do his
이제
Solaris. I see.
그 레벨이
Didn't
좀
really
올라가니까
take advantage of the
성소도 아마
acceleration
가속 성소도
shrine,
많이
it
안
seems,
나올 겁니다.
as he moves
쪼렙
into
성소.
Solaris there, killing off a few
아,
extra
아니라가지고.
packs as he's really trying to chase down that rare monster, taking quite a while. He does get
아,
the kill
솔직히
and
현역이
gets
1등
a
해야지.
level there just
자존심이
before moving
있지.
into the next zone. So I believe we saw it there. We I think was that taking the minion damage? Is
크랩하는 여유?
the current strategy on the tree
빠르게
there as well. The
크랩하고.
minion damage scaling to get a
Yeah.
little bit of extra damage scaling. And moving across to pick up those nodes
아마 이제
there as
굳히기
well. So
하려고
you
크랩을
can
한 것
convert
같은데.
minion damage over to scale your spell
롤링 막으니까
damage.
롤링.
Well, we're definitely going to be seeing some
지금
differences
현역이
here.
누구냐고요?
I mean, Tai23 in the
친구
past
빼고
was
네
known
번째
to be a
거 빼고
player
나머지.
that just got so good that he could afford to pick up life notes, you know? It does give you that little bit of more life, gives you a little bit of stun prevention,
Yep.
which allows you to
올드 유저가
move
나왔는데
around.
메시.
Obviously, it's safer. But if you're
과연
ahead,
크랩을
if
했던
you're
판단이
controlling
맞는
the situation,
판단이었을까?
if you feel like
맞는
you don't have to
판단이었길
get more
바라네.
damage,
아무래도
you
이제
have enough to
템
clear, you have
감정하고 뭐
enough to
이런
do those
시간보다
boss
그냥
fights,
크랩하는 게 더
then
좋다고
yeah,
생각한대.
getting a little bit more defenses, why not? And Act 3 is the perfect act to do so, as you're going to have a much better understanding of where you're at in terms of RNG, how your gear is looking, and this is already the beginning of when these guys are thinking about when is that moment where I no longer kill mobs to get XP to improve my character and instead try to progress as much as possible towards Innocence and Kitava. And
Havoc.
as we
Not interested in those rare boots. They're just straight up vendors them. Not even worried about it. He's set. He's looking pretty
너무
comfortable with his
비슷한데?
gear right now.
목적지는
We just
오타바입니다,
saw the
오타바.
end of Solaris, in which the players will pick up, unless they don't need it, but typically it's always needed, the crafting recipe that adds fire damage, which includes that fire damage to spells, that they can actually craft on their melee
위에는
weapons.
안
That's a
간다고?
crucial part of the
나도 위에는 안
strategy.
가요.
However,
1, 2등
it
정인데 이제
does
밑에
need
봐야지.
eight transmutes, which is a lot of currency to
오타바퀴까지
get when
1
you're
시간
moving
정도 안
this
걸리지.
four per weapon.
Yeah,
You're not always going to be crafting both weapons.
True, true. So 4 to 8, depending on the current weapon situation. But you don't tend to find spell damage axes or swords, so
Yeah,
it can be really nice to be able to craft that and actually get quite a lot of damage. It actually comes at a really crucial time as well.
아, 엄청 비슷하죠?
Get on
이 정도면 거의
Solaris and get
똑같다고
the
볼 수
currency sword
있거든요?
Straight away, you can get that craft done just in time for
와,
the Piety
거울인가요,
and
지금?
then Dominus fights. And those can be really tough if you don't have a lot of damage, especially Piety as she moves through her phases. But if you can get a lot of damage, you can kill her really quickly and it becomes a lot easier and a lot safer. So timing on that, it can be rather crucial. I haven't seen Havoc go to the hideout yet though, so we'll see if he goes and does that in a moment.
자, 그 와중에 타이 또
if you can take
성소
the time to do
먹었죠?
so, why rush it? You have
Yeah.
all the time in the world. They're around the
그라비우스.
37-minute mark, which is really fast. I mean, these acceleration shrines are playing a major role. Obviously, the players have improved tremendously. We have a little bit of a difficult fight now for Exile. That's going to be Gravicious, who does a lot of fire damage. You do need to kill him for that previously mentioned incredibly crucial Chance Orb, or excuse me, Chance Orb that then you use to buy Cremation. But I don't see a Chance Orb for Exile. I didn't see a fuse.
다시 아메믹짤이 또
The
앞서가고
players will be
있습니다.
transitioning from Magma
드리블하면서
or
일부러
Magma, as
그
it's known these days,
위쪽으로 조금이라도
into,
이동 시간 아끼려고 한 게 좀
Cremation and
스노우볼이
Armageddon
굴러가는데.
Brand with a little bit of Desecrate to create corpses.
연습한 보람이 있네요.
That does require level 28. We just saw Ty as the first one to reach 27, so the players are getting close to that point. So we'll see the skill change, and that happens actually basically at Dominus usually, maybe sometimes
유령
at
잡고
Ty,
가나요?
so
Oh
we'll
my
see.
goodness. Oh, Exile
What's
killing a
going on?
tormented rare mob. You can see the desperation. Unfortunately, this is the worst case scenario. I mean, I don't want to doom her too much, but there is a very small possibility that Exile is going to run into a problem that unfortunately doesn't have a solution outside of RNG. Typically, the RNG aspects
조금만
even out,
실수해도
but
바로 따라잡. 똑같아.
the Chance Orb
또
is
따라잡혔어.
something
와,
that just
찐타이
it does
존나
not have another
빠름.
solution.
Yeah, certainly you
아니.
can get by with just one or the other on Cremation or Armageddon brand, but it's certainly not ideal.
저걸 또 따라잡네.
yeah,
저 정도면
a little bit of
따라잡은
an upset
거거든요.
potentially there. We'll see how he
이렇게
goes.
차이 안 나니까.
Tai Killer moving through his docks now. It's a good place to pick up a little bit of extra XP. He took a skip across there. We'll see whether it's the correct decision and whether he gets his quest objective or gets caught in a corner.
Titan Killer, he's got two Chance Orbs.
지금
Maybe he can trade
1등은 잘 모르겠어요. 지금 아멕짤이랑 타이랑
that would
왔다 갔다 하는데
be,
지금
that would be
타이가
They
오!
didn't tell us it's against
오,
the
타이 죽을
rules.
뻔했어요.
Just saying. Huh?
One other player has
뻔했어요,
another. They're right
죽을
next to each other.
죽으면
It'd be pretty easy to
1분이거든요.
negotiate.
It's time to vote. Press Jonathan.
Yep. We are Lunaris Temple with Havoc right now with two shrines. He's got a diamond shrine and I think a replenishing shrine there. So a little bit of extra safety and damage there, and he's picking up those big fire damage nodes as well. So lots of damage happening now. The players just start getting faster and faster at this point. It's actually crazy. Exile looking the first to Piety. Let's see how she
아니,
goes.
이사도
She
돈
can be a
있어요.
little uncooperative if she teleports into a bad phase.
자,
She's
아멕짤이
standing
좀
there to cast
더
her
빨리
ball bindings, which is
들어갔거든요.
pretty much ideal. She stays in location. Oh, a short teleport is perfect.
Holy.
A very rapid kill there from Exile. Very nice. Pretty
자,
much
이제
ideal.
아멕짤이 지금 많이
That was
앞서가고
incredible.
있거든요.
Yeah,
이
you really
정도면.
want to kill it during that.
Ty 23, nearly perfect as well. Takes a big hit at the end there, but he's okay. It was basically as fast as possible. I don't think we even saw any ice or fire.
위에 이제
from Piety
하복이랑
As long as he dies within
타이타이는
that
3,
duration of the war
4등급이고
banner placement, yeah, that's going to be
Yep.
very important.
Done.
I mean, Exile, I can see that there is one solution. You can vendor a bunch of rares, get alterations, then
타이는
convert
지금
those
이제
into jewelers, and then
낙인으로
get a
바꿨고
fusing, and then purchase the
And
Chance
then-
Orb.
그다음에 아멕짤은 롤링마크만
It's a
그대로 쓰네요.
multi-step process.
Yeah, but that's 8 alterations.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the deterministic.
And you gotta be picking up so many items. There's so many things to
여기서 좀
worry
차이가
about. I mean,
나겠네요.
we've seen Dominus kills
빌드가
with Magma
바뀌었으니까.
Orb, and it was okay. You
Yeah.
can still put up with
아마-
that, but once you get to those Act 4 bosses, that's really when the game ramps up, things become difficult,
좀 차이가
and
좀
you
날
need
것
as much
같은데.
damage as possible to shorten those fights and burst through them.
존나게 사실상
As,
움직이면서 쏠 수
Time
있는 것 때문에 좀
23
좋긴
done
하거든요.
with his Piety, and Havoc will be there shortly.
Very nice stuff.
가봅시다.
23 moving through a little bit of a dangerous spot there with the Quill Beasts. Oof. Jumping in, they're moving so fast that sometimes it can be difficult to know what's on the next screen, where you're going to be in the blink of an eye. And if you're already killing things at the same time, then sometimes those Quill Beasts can catch you off guard, but he does manage to survive the hit with some very timely flask use there.
And we're heading into some extremely difficult zones now. So these mobs heading up through Scepter of God have lightning damage. They can shock you for a large amount, but they also freeze, so you have to worry about that. Once you get to Dominus, you need lightning resistance for Dominus, but you don't want to die to the fire mob that jumps on you and does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So this is where that gear preparation matters the most, because face tanking Dominus is a big aspect.
피로
And as
도미누스
Exile is looking to be most
되나?
likely the first person who will reach Dominus, I think he will be level 28. No cremation. And he's got a little bit of a history
오,
with
도미누스
Dominus, as we've
들어왔고
discussed
아멕짤
previously.
가봅시다.
Did die on it once during the qualifiers. Actually, his qualifier that he ended up winning He can afford to lose a little bit of time here, but he can't afford to die, I don't think, considering the cremation situation.
So we're seeing the first phase of the Dominus fight now, in which a bunch of different unique guardians are summoned, and they're not too bad. If you can kill them in a group, that can certainly speed things up. There's a little bit of a danger there, but I'm Exile getting through quite cleanly, and you'll notice that he's pre-placing
존나기랑
the
롤링마그마.
flame totem, the fireballs,
롤링마그마도
and everything.
이타 다
He knows
맞으면
where
세긴
they're
한데
gonna spawn, so
타이가
they're
좀
just
불안하긴
there
하거든요,
going
지금.
as soon as they're spawned in. But here comes Dominus for the actual first phase, and you want to be able to basically just take him down before he even teleports away here if you can. And we'll see if I'm Exile manages to do that. It's a short teleport, still kind of in range of his current position, and he gets the kill very nice. You see he's
먼저
already
이렇게
moved over to
들어갔고.
the right spot for the second
타이는
phase
아직
there.
좀 멀었네요.
Ty23 going through his first phase now, and we'll see how it goes for him. While I'm Exile does a little bit of gear prep, ready for the second phase there. Ty23 dodges the slam, which he kind of just locked into, as like sometimes they'll use a skill even
시작한 지 한
when they're already
30분 정도
dead.
됐습니다.
But he already had him taken down there, so Ty23 moves into the second phase as well. They're so close! I'm Exile, second phase here. Let's see how he goes.
Yeah, you can still see that it's a pretty clean kill for Exile, who is slightly ahead.
Very nice.
Very good job by him. Dominus doesn't move a lot, so the Magma, Rolling Magma is still so effective. Ty23 taking a little bit more time despite having the cremation pre-placed. How's this
다음에
happening?
엄청 많이
Herald
걸렸거든요,
of
이
Thunder is
정도면?
on the ground.
Yeah, he's going back to
Interesting.
town. He's got a little bit
개인적으로
of
특별한
extra
변수가
stuff to
없으면
do
여기서
there. This
붙이지
is
않을까라는
interesting.
생각이.
Ty23 known for the coolest Dominus kill of all time,
Oh yeah.
in which he killed Dominus without even looking at him and just teleported to the next zone within the blink of an eye. It was something. It was supremely cool. But a bit more reserved and safe here, playing into
죽을 일은 없을 것
full
같고.
pre-place and everything. Actually, I like it. He's a little more conservative there, perhaps.
종락이랑
But
롤링
a slight
차이가
half
날
zone
텐데.
lead here. We're
꽤 많이
starting to see
벌려놨거든요,
now
이 정도면.
where things are starting to shake out a little bit more in terms of who's leading the pack, and very close between I'm Exile and Ty23. Just a little maybe edge there for
좀
I'm Exile.
장기적으로 보면
Difficult
종락이
to
좋긴 한데
tell
이게
if
오타
someone's got a
발언이라는
little
게
bit of gear edge that might
있어가지고
play out down the road.
큰 의미는
But
없을 수도
Havoc look
있어요.
like he's taking third spot with Ty Killer just a little bit behind him right now. Havoc moving into his second phase of Dominus as we speak.
Yeah, and a big part of this is also something
다른
that actually Ty
다른
ended up
레이서들은 지금 종락 다
pretty much
맞췄고 아맥잘만 지금
inventing,
종락
which is
없거든요.
aura management. So you're going to be seeing players switching to determination
너무
whenever
좋고.
they need a little bit more safety, and then playing with anger when they need damage. Typically,
종락 넣었군요.
I might have
넣네
reminded Ty
넣네.
of doing so. No, well, maybe. No,
난 그 와중에
I'm not
타이가
quite
이렇게
sure. Yeah, he was
빨리
switching out
쫓아오는 게
something.
너무 대단하다.
But yeah, typically when you're running around and trying to go as fast as possible, you're going to be
난
running
언제
around with
바꾼지도
determination
모르겠는데
as you
끼고
do have enough
있어.
damage.
다른
But
애들
then
거
on
보면
those bosses, when you
순식간에
need to
바뀌었어.
maximize your damage and really burst them down as quickly as
시소를
possible,
못
you're going to be
넣으니까
running anger.
롤링 그냥
And
쓰는 것
another
같아.
acceleration strike for Ty. Oh, okay.
He's going so fast. Unique dropped at the edge of the screen. He didn't even look at it. He's just like, I'm
가서
got
선수
places
일부러
to
많이
be,
깔아놓은
mate.
것
I'm
같아.
not even
그런
gonna
것
look at what it
같아.
was. I don't even
이러지면 안
know what it
돼.
was. Maybe
Exile's
someone-
getting another okay.
그 정도로 가성도 안 나오거든요. 그러니까 얘네들이 맵 레이아웃도 똑같고
Look at
성도
this.
똑같은 거 보니까
Oh, Ty, I believe he clicked
그
exit game.
대회라
I think we had
가지고
another
일부러 좀
misclick
뿌려놓은
on
것
that button
같아.
there. But
Yeah,
he
the
gets
game's
back in,
faster.
that's good. Yeah.
늘어지지
That's nice
말라고.
fast load speed there. Oof, very nice.
It's just fast here.
Yeah. All right, we
I
got
think he does have the banner. Okay, that was a slight
Ooh,
mistake,
that
not a.
자,
yeah, I
이러면
was
이제
thinking
실수
for a second,
나왔으면 이제
if they're
이
clicking
정도면
so
이제
fast, I mean, a lot
붙여진
of
것
times Exile
같은데?
is pretty much doing it instantly. Whenever he picks up an item, he immediately clicks to change the character
벌어지죠. 저거
selection
되게
screen.
크거든요.
And yeah, it just looks super scary. I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
I've done that before where I've like went to click up the quest item, logged out, and then I realized, oh, I didn't actually pick up.
Okay, Exile's getting so many acceleration shrines, I'm pretty sure he just ran past one. I mean, it was a really dangerous pack, and he knows that he's very close to the exit, but still,
Too fast even for acceleration shrines at this point.
that's kind of ridiculous.
Ty Killer moving into his Dominus fight now, taking out the ads. Ooh, very quickly. His damage is looking very on point. That is what he needs to be able to get through this fight nice and quick there. He's got his Cremation and Armageddon Brand running there, doing lots of damage. Being able to pre-post those Cremations as the mobs spawn is a big help in getting that damage preloaded and to burst them down right as they appear. Havoc moving fast right now. Oh my god, we are at the pinnacle of Kill Monster fast, both in terms of these races, but also in terms of the acceleration shrines that have been seemingly hand-placed.
야, 맥자이를 많이 벌렸다. 많이 벌렸네.
Inventory looking like
스노우볼 굴러가죠, 점점.
It takes a moment to get a
스노우볼
sip.
굴러갑니다.
Nice.
It might be chaotically organized, you know? It just
그
might be
와중에
one of those
하복도
things where
엄청
he
빨리
knows
많이
what he needs,
따라왔어요,
he
저
knows what
정도면.
he's got, and he's not going to be picking up that much more. He does seem pretty set up, which is very nice. It's going to give him an opportunity to catch up as Amexal with another accelerate. He's got another one.
여기는
It's been
죽으면 바로
every zone
3등이야.
in Act 4.
1분이야. 죽으면 1분
actually
멍 때리고
not.
있어야 돼. 죽으면 안 돼.
Titanic gets his
그냥.
Dominus kill down. Second
Well,
place.
skip from Tai.
태선 실수만 해도
that's
이렇게
it, there we
벌어지는데.
Yeah, very
태선
Sorry
실수만
guys,
해도.
it's just going by
그
so
10초도
quickly.
이렇게
There are
벌어지는데.
very important skips
안 돼.
in Act 4 in the Ressa zone
잡기술이래.
specifically and in Combs zone as well.
잡기술 성공 뭔데?
But sometimes you see players, even though they have the possibility to go for that skip with a lightning warp that you're later on going to be needing as well, Amexal gets another acceleration.
It's still going.
Well, even this, there's more accelerations than less. At this point, they've had acceleration
pretty
active
sure, right?
more than less.
It's not just confirmation bias, I don't think. Like,
Yeah.
Someone will go through and count and be like, yeah, there was like 19 acceleration strides and like 2.
Rigged. But yeah, sometimes you're going to be skipping, like
Yeah.
you're seeing on Havoc's screen. He went for the skip. And sometimes if you need a little bit more
아밀자는
XP, those cages do
처음부터 하고
offer a lot of it. Again, you can see it on Havoc's screen.
잘해서 갔다 왔냐, 아밀짤?
Ooh, a little bit of movement there, but it's still clean. A big
Oh, he
skip
gets it.
from him,
Nice.
gets both of them. Very nicely done. Yeah, with all
지금
these shrines,
다르지
I
않겠지?
think they just have
카운터
so
하는
much
거지?
XP. None of these players
타이는
are
지금
going
다르접도 가고
to choose
있네요.
to actually fight the monsters at this point.
Buckle just snapped out of existence there by Havoc. He's always a fast boss fight, but that was something else. It's like our commentary can't even keep up with explaining the various skips and things like that. They're moving too fast. with
Yeah.
Acceleration strides. But yes, there is some crucial skips there that it's too late to explain. They've already done it.
Yep.
But we do have on Kaum's Stronghold the potential for a huge skip actually where the lava falls can be jumped up from the right angle, bypassing sometimes up to half of the
심지어
zone. Maybe one or
하복은
two of
아까
those. And they're nothing to do with
중소당해가지고
lightning
게임이
warp, but it can be
한번
done in some of the
멈췄어요.
ways. Be a little difficult.
근데
But I don't
저속도가
believe we saw
나온다는
any from
거는
Lightning, so I don't think that
진짜
helps.
빠르다는
We'll see if
거임.
any
저거
of the
만약에
other
안
players.
튕겼으면
And some zone-
타이타이는
Yeah, see, this is
그
the
세 명
big
중 한
problem when
명이었을
you have to
텐데.
use magma orb. When you don't have that cremation, you're having to
Still stuck.
continuously cast.
Oh, that is
and
brutal.
yeah, you're just standing
He's still
around.
winning.
You're in danger.
Look at him though. He's still winning though.
And but the frustration.
Yeah,
I can
it's
I
gonna
can see him boiling.
It's going to take its toll a little bit more and just bleed away his lead if he gets stuck in that situation for too long.
I'm double checking unless Exo had a different zone with Einhard. There was no skip in the most
I don't
crucial
think so.
part of the Combs dream.
Yeah, sometimes there
Will-
just isn't the opportunity, and it looks like
It's a
that
pretty
might
low
be the
chance.
case. Yeah.
It's like 10%,
Oh,
but we
oh,
might be
oh,
seeing
oh.
it here.
That's,
This is a short-
oh, yeah.
Oh, he leaps it!
I don't think I've ever seen the leap slam on
Okay.
there.
Okay, buddy, relax.
it's
Most
not
players are getting
잡기술.
lightning warps for this. He
Yup.
leaps it.
He's like, don't even need the lightning orb. I did not even know you could leap slam off.
I had
I think
no
there's
idea.
specific ones maybe that can be just.
뭐 아까
leap
누가
slammed
막았다 하지
up.
않았어?
Yeah, I forget the right pixel though.
That was
막은 걸
cool.
또
That
뚫은
was
건가?
very cool.
I don't think I've ever seen that yet.
I love seeing things for the first time ever as a commentator live at the Exalt.
But that's the
그
difference.
막았다
This
그래.
is why we're sitting here and they're
찐타
sitting over
용갈 기술 다
there. They
보여준다고.
know
아, 안
every
막았어요.
little
아.
detail about what
그러니까
needs
잘안
to be
되게끔만
done
하는
here.
건가?
Hundreds of practice runs, finding all of
Havok,
아 막은 건
lightning
연막질이고
warping, he's
Yeah,
on the
there we go.
acceleration, gets
Yep.
through. But you
Very
see,
good. Not as fast though, yeah.
that was pretty fast, but it
찐타에
still
저거
took a
비현역
while
맞냐고?
longer than
놀랍게도
Guy's jump.
맞습니다.
And the difference in understanding of the game comes through there. And every single second is going to count as Amexa will be the first person to enter a very difficult zone to run. That's going to be Belly of the Beast 1 and Belly of the Beast 2. Combined, both of those zones, I think, have like 20-something layouts, and they're pretty hard.
I guess
the mobs get hard.
Zone. Both the zone layouts and the monsters make me very anxious in this zone that they're
아맥짤은
right now.
2등이었는데 역전한
Particularly
거예요, 역전.
those little creatures that stick their spikes out and do a nasty puncture. Can just sometimes you can just leap into the middle of the pack and they
실수를
all
안
just
했어.
whack you at once.
타이는
It'd be a real
실수 한 번
problem.
해가지고
But I'm
지금 사실 타이타이 킬러 하복, 타이 셋 다 한 번씩
실수.
실수 혹은 억가가
To give we
있었는데
have
지금
crossed the
아맥짤만 억가가 없었거든요.
15-minute mark, and players are getting dangerously
We're not far
close
away.
to Act 5. Yeah, because Act 5 is
하복은
very
뭐
quick. If you guys
실수라기에는
think this
좀
is fast,
그렇고
Act
억가당한
5
거야.
is absolutely ridiculous. Everything is set up. They are just going at that
아맥짤
point.
아까
Killing
잡기 주시다가
mobs
실패했어.
offers nothing for them. They're not getting XP. They're just getting flash charges. And
Yeah.
so once we're there, it's going to get ridiculous. And the time is insane. And from the qualifiers that we talked about before, nobody got a time that was lower than 1 hour and 6 minutes. This might be under an hour, which was something that a lot of players thought was physically impossible. Nobody's ever even seen a time like that. I can
하보
spoil
무섭게
this
따라오고
now.
있거든요,
I
지금.
do know, in fact, that Amexal was getting averages of about
하보
an
무서워요,
hour
지금.
and 1, an hour and 2 sometimes. And when he put all of his best times together from all of his runs, he just barely managed to get it under an hour. Doing that in a live setting despite
와,
the
그
really
와중에 찐타이
potent
따라잡았어요,
acceleration
지금.
shrines is just
따라잡았어요.
so impressive.
That's
먼저
absolutely
잡았거든요?
crazy. I would lose it to see that today.
찐타이가 먼저
Such a
잡았거든요.
ridiculous time.
100%. They're taking down Piety.
미친.
Exile already done, having
어어?
to wait for her to finally be talkable. Tide 23
이걸 역전을 한 번 더 한다고?
Yeah, into the harvest.
That's
And we're-
interesting. A little bit
Yeah.
of catch up there because Amexal.
아, 이러면 이제 아멕자 좀 긁히거든요.
Like we said, that
전광판이
advantage was
밝을
just
거는 긁히거든, 이거.
slowly bleeding away a percentage point at a time. And wow, that was like simultaneous entry.
자, 똑같죠,
into the
똑같죠?
Chevron fight here.
자, 이게
Will we
템이
see
좀
the
아니
difference
템이 난다. 그게 좀
between the
달라요
single
지금.
target?
Oh, that's very
시소
cool to
차이,
see side by side.
시소 차이,
there.
시소 차이. 비슷해, 비슷해, 비슷해.
Holy, oh wait a minute.
거울이냐고.
Maybe Exile didn't want to find a Magma.
밀어줘, 밀어줘,
Maybe he
진짜.
practiced so much that he knows,
I was
or he didn't need to
surprised.
find the cremation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he practiced every worst case scenario. Maybe he practiced a scenario
자,
in
여기서
which
타인
he
한번
doesn't
몹을
get
좀
it.
잡고 갔습니다.
And you know, instead of just crying about it,
아마
like we
이거는
are over here,
아멕자리
you just
먼저
win.
잡겠죠.
I love the idea of practicing for the adverse runs where things don't go your way. Actually.
It's the way to do it.
와, 씨.
Those
차이가
things that happen
지금
on the day and you aren't prepared for it, then that can be a real
템이 더
shock.
좋나
But
본데
Tide 23
딜이 좀
does get through
잘
that
나오는
one a little
느낌인데?
bit faster from the look
시소
of things,
때문인가?
but still,
모독 시소 이게 지금 왜냐면 아멕자는 지금 시체 조각이
we have an Algara
없어요.
fight coming up now. Just started a
그래갖고
little
종락
bit
시소로
ahead. Tide 23
못하고
takes quite a bit of
종락이랑
damage
롤링
to
마그마로 하고
through there.
있거든요.
It's about half, but he's looking pretty confident. He's okay.
아, 이게 시소 차이가 이제 스노우볼도
Reaches the
굴러가네
waypoint, he will
이게.
now be fighting the mini bosses as well. You don't want to be doing any zone resetting in this one, as anytime any of the mini bosses die, and then you have to re-enter a new zone, even though you have the
네,
pieces in your
아래쪽이
inventory,
먼저 타요.
you can't actually access Malachi. So
Yeah.
very important
Oh,
to keep everything under control here.
All right, we've got a big
그러게
Malachi
역전 못할 줄
fight. There's been
알았는데.
times where this has been very frightening, and this might be one of those times as Amexal eats, I believe, one of the throws there and takes a lot of damage.
So hard with
짬타이는 화면을 끄자고 아예 말이
Let's see
좀
how he goes.
심한데
So close to
타이타이
touching
킬러들
through.
많이
Get a little bit more of a gauge on
노력했어.
a slightly larger
물론 난안
boss,
보고
just how
있지만
these two
여러분들
are
많이
shaping
봐주세요.
up against each other, and it made it. At this point, it could come down to the actual Kitava fight itself, which would be super thrilling.
so much shotgunning on Kitava though. For
Yeah, it's a
Korean.
very,
네,
very.
열심히
Any moment that goes by
하시잖아.
for Amexal, I'm sure he is praying.
You want to be getting into that Kitava fight before your opponent.
Yeah,
Yep.
100% so.
And these are the times to secure that little bit of a lead that they need to win this race.
And a little bit about the Malachi fight. It is something probably that's going to look easy when you're just watching the way that these players are doing it over here, but it is very challenging.
왜 타이탄은
tentacles,
짝대고
they do
밑엔
cold
찐타이냐고?
damage,
말
they do
그대로입니다.
traps, they do fire and lightning damage, and they have a high amount of crit. There's a lot of physical damage coming up from Malachi with those little blobs that he's throwing around. Eventually, they're going to be shotgunning pretty badly once he kills the
왜
final
타이타이
heart.
킬러냐면요.
So, this is a challenging
진짜
fight for
말
sure.
그대로 그냥
Tide 23
그대로 받아들이면 됩니다.
is done with it though.
Yeah, he gets the boss kill down good ways ahead of Amexal, actually. So we've seen a bit of a flip here in the positions, and Tide 23 using that lead actually to go back and buy himself a little bit of extra safety. Some of those spare transmutes
자, 과연
coming in handy
변수가
as he goes
있을지.
and crafts some extra crucial resistances for this last little push into Act 5 here. There's one little more.
근데
one
이게
little bit of zone to go here
지금
through the snow, basically just a bit of leaf slam.
아멕자리
And then we're into
이제
Act 5, which is
시소를
back-to-back boss
챙기기에는
fights
이미
and
늦었거든요. 저
the
저대로
end of the
가야 된단
race,
말이야. 근데 그
before
차이가
you know it,
크잖아
it's
사실. 키타바 같은 경우에는
Tide 23
시소가
wait for
다
the
들어갈
portal to
텐데
open. And I mean, being in the lead is
시소가
not
다
always
들어갈
the
거란
best
말이야,
thing
딜이.
in a race. That's
거기서
something
딜
that I've
차이가
always
엄청날
admired
텐데.
about Havoc. You know, sometimes you're leading and you don't appreciate it enough. The stress gets to you,
그치,
and you
고정형
end up
보스는
making
시소가
some
너무
mistakes. That hasn't been the
개꿀이거든요.
case for Exile. I'm not
시소를
sure
왜 안
that's going to be the
쓰냐면
case for
살 수
Tide
있는
23.
크러쉬가 안
We
나와서.
are entering parts of the game that
그런 건데.
he previously has shown he needed more practice in.
Yeah,
아그마도
these
2타
later
다
acts
들어가긴
can
하는데
be
그래도
difficult to
시소가 좀
practice
더 세지
because
않나.
you get inclined to restart when something goes wrong and practice those early acts, and I've certainly seen players get in that loop, but it's difficult to commit to finishing the runs and practicing the late game as much as the early game. So it can be a little rougher here at the end here. Just seeing what
그래도
we've got.
저주 차이도
Level
끄고.
35 for Tide 23.
That is level 35.
Just saw level 33 for I'm Exile, so that's actually a pretty substantial difference here. We talked about it earlier, but players decide on a point to stop, not the unique drop there, to stop leveling up, essentially, intentionally to like start killing less. And where you do that and how much XP you kind of get after that point can make a little bit of a difference here.
Very much so. A difficult zone. Control blocks.
롤링 마그마도 저렇게
Needs a good
방금같이
read, a great
얇은
jump
움직이는
from
부스전에서는
Amexel
많이
there.
차이가
He knows
나지.
exactly where to go.
skip.
There you
약간
go.
아멜자 잡기
That's
쓰려다가
it.
살짝
It's so
버벅거든요.
important to know about.
Oh
That's
my.
something that people found out
아멜자
pretty
살짝
late into some of the
버벅거든.
qualifiers, and
약간
everybody started
낑기면 개
practicing the
밟았거든요.
zone. It's so cool to see that they did in fact figure it out and can replicate that skip 100% of the time. Very nicely done, saving themselves a lot of time from both Tide 23 and I'm Exile, who is
So many
just
unique
now
drops.
getting his Eyes of Zeal. Yeah, so I mean, I mean, they're not getting acceleration shrines every time, at least.
Yeah, no,
anymore.
we seem to have run out of acceleration.
아멜자 마음
shrines.
급해졌죠,
Sorry,
지금.
that was the,
전가방
that
막
was the
뜨죠.
supply has been consumed.
I want to say I'm happy, but speed. It's like I want him to.
이노센스에서 롤링 존나 안 걸리거든요.
That's it.
Hey guys, can you slow down?
이노센스
Come on.
롤링 어떻게 잡을까
It's not
롤링으로
10 minutes,
이노센스.
please. No, it's not going to happen. Look at him go. We have a couple of very dangerous zones here. The monsters in here, we have seen upsets of people jumping into a blue pack and getting taken down. Certainly at this point,
이거 보고 더 약간
starting to get
다른
really
너프할까
on the
보다 이미
level. So we just
너프됐죠.
got 23 hit level 35. It's a level 42 zone. 7 levels
찐타이
under.
CC에서 게임 안 한다는 게
If you
점수
look at their
같다고?
HP,
그런 거 같습니다.
The I'm Exile's got 742,
아
I believe.
이게
Tide 23 has
솔직히 그
755.
롤링
Very close
마그마로
HP, but none of
이노센스는
those
조금
values are close to
힘드니까
what you would have in an average
거기서
player's
과연
run, I think.
No, yeah. The regular
이
player
변수라고
don't
하면
usually equal the zone level. Maybe a
타이가
little bit
실수하는
over
것밖에
if you're doing
없거든요.
the mechanics, right? But no, that's not the case here. Tide 23, 7 levels under. I'm Exile, even more, like 9 levels under.
Yeah, I'm Exile knows that he needs to cut corners. We were talking about how much he was keeping up.
실수를 하면 뒤지는 걸 얘기하는 건데
Nation. It's just such a
아
big
여기서 만약
deal.
죽는 거 아니면
He's
조금
rushing,
힘들지도.
he's charging. He still
보스전에서 차이가
can
좀 많이
win.
나니까.
It is going to be very close. But it might boil down to a mistake from Tide 23, a man who has shown at the previous ExileCon he doesn't make mistakes.
No, he's very much all about
자,
securing that big
이노센스
win. And
왔습니다.
I think he wants to be in the lead.
거의
That's
동시에
the
들어갔거든요.
position he
거의
wants.
동시에.
Yeah.
포탈을
be
먼저
like
열어놨네
Trying
아밀자는.
to play the catch up.
혹시 이제
as
죽을
we've
수도
seen from some of the
있다라는
qualifiers. But here he goes into the innocence fight. It can
롤링
be
잘
a very
맞추고
dangerous
있죠?
fight, but players have kind of got this one down pretty comfortably lately. We haven't seen too many upsets recently, so hopefully we won't see
아,
any
근데
big deals
시소가
here.
너무
There is
좋아요.
some ad phase here that they have to go through, which is relatively safe, and you'll notice that they know that they don't really have to chase down all those bubble mobs and things like that as well.
You say that, Ziggy, but we do see a little bit of a difference between those two players in their strategy and approach and the confidence that they both have as one player.
아 롤링 마그마 콘돔업이 안
Them
죽어.
as I know Tide 23 can't hear me.
그래도
So,
비슷해. 이 정도면
I'm gonna say
비슷해.
for him to click
비슷해
it
비슷해
too.
비슷해 비슷해.
You can't
거의
click
똑같아.
it
거의
anymore,
똑같아. 거의
Ty.
똑같아.
No portals. But Exile's got a portal present in
거의
case
똑같아요.
something
거의 똑같아.
happens.
와 시소 보입니까
Yeah, a little
저
safety portal there.
Yeah, he can recover.
깔아놓고 딜하는 거?
It is nice to have a
반피
few
뺐어.
portals
반피
to go into
시소는.
that Kitava fight.
반피고
coming up, so,
아밀자는 3분의 1 뺐네요.
squared away
거기에
from
포탈건까지.
by that time. But we see Havoc
아
actually
포탈건하고
I
스킵해버렸네.
feel like a nice
패턴
bit
스킵.
of a catch up there as he's moving through the Chamber of
그런
Innocence
느낌을 한
himself
듯?
now. So he's not far away from that Innocence fight himself.
We did just cross the 1
장기술 살짝
hour mark, so
들어갔고.
it's not going to be under 1 hour, but it will be very, very, very
Yeah.
close.
I mean, you might think, oh yeah, they've still got to kill
포탈
Innocence. and
하면
then they've got to,
패턴
like,
스킵이냐
go to
몰랐어요,
Kitava. It's like
저도.
literally like it's 3 leap slams away after you finish Innocence.
Yep.
So we're not far away, just
저한테
minutes
물어보죠. 저도
away
모릅니다.
from closing this out and seeing who's
뭔가
gonna take
타이밍이 있나 봐요.
not only top position, but
코코볼,
second and
코코볼.
third are also a big deal as there is some significant prize
한번
money on the
받고.
line here. No pressure. The last
타이는
moments
코코볼
of
안
the
보나요,
guys,
지금?
but, woo!
I mean, we're talking a
타이는
lot
코코볼 안
about
보나?
Exile and Tide 23, but look who's fighting Innocence as well. You know, normally we'd be full screening somebody, focusing on them
Yeah,
a little
we
bit
can't.
more, but
코코볼
it is
나온다, 나온다.
just
와,
so
코코볼
close
안
with
봐.
Tacticular also
아,
catching up and doing incredibly well.
끝났어.
His management
일단
of those
1등은
items,
타이인 것
of those
같습니다,
auras
여기서.
and abilities is just so supreme. He's always the player that shows his magnificence in the later parts
시소
of the
차이, 시소
race.
차이. 잡기줄까지 써봤지만
Tide 23 will be the first person to enter.
Havoc
타봐도
went
시소가 훨씬
very low there
유리해가지고.
to some projectiles from
아, 시소
Innocence.
시치.
Havoc does have a little bit of a history with Innocence.
Yeah.
He has had some situations in the past that were tricky.
Oh, and
So
again,
much.
Havoc blink.
No flash! Oh, Havoc!
아, 하복
Absolutely brutal.
1분.
My heart shatters.
The devastation. Did he
괜찮아,
have a portal
타이타이.
up? I don't think so. He doesn't have any portals in his
괜찮아,
inventory.
타이타이.
That's going to be a full
That's
minute
huge.
and a rerun from the waypoint.
Oh, you can see the countdown on the
시간
screen
있어, 시간
now.
있어.
And the
This allows Titan Killer to catch up.
1분
and puts
길거든요,
Havoc
스피드런에서.
almost certainly out of the top two
Yeah,
placements.
the battle for third and fourth is going to be a big race
아,
between
렉
Havoc and
걸려서.
Tai now as this gives Tai the Killer to even it up. And Havoc is going to have to
인플렉.
fight real hard from this. He's going to have to do some extra running
컴퓨터가
there. The
하복에 좀 안
portal, the
좋나
cord in
봐요.
place. Absolutely
Oh
brutal.
man, that is going to be.
His HP 678.
좀
Sure, he's most certainly
억울할 것
brewing as
같은데
Tide 23 and MXL.
지금 아마 하복은
in
자기
the ultimate
4등이라고
neck and
생각하고
neck.
하고 있는 것 같아.
Oh, Ziggy, I hate to say it might just.
자기가
pop
꼴등이라고 생각하고 있는 것 같아.
information.
그죠?
Yeah, like we said,
걱정
the
마, 니 뒤에
advantage
타이타
that he
있어.
had for so long just bled away slowly.
Yeah.
There's almost imperceptible differences in the end. But oh no, I'm up. He almost goes to
걱정
walk out, but
마.
he doesn't.
전광판이 지금 1등 하다도 모르지 니 뒤에 사람 있다.
I'm gonna go around. Oh my
Tide
god,
doesn't have
he
the
stayed alive.
acceleration. He's jumping as
일본이었는데
quickly as
아직.
possible. He did get past that back. Oh my god, it's so close.
I'm Exile. How did you survive that? It was so
아메차 죽을
close.
뻔했어?
What an incredible save.
어,
then
비슷하네
from-
또.
That would have
어.
broken my heart to see that. This is so close here.
Both players skipping the
잠깐만,
shrine.
모르는
Didn't even get an
건가?
opportunity to see what it was. I believe
자,
they
일단은
both saw
레이스 시작한 지 한
whatever that
50분
was, but
정도
they
경과됐고요.
need to
지금
get to Kitava. We
오타바까지가
are
죽는데
closing in
I
here.
can't even tell who's going to be getting there
코앞입니다.
first at
이제
this point.
중간까지.
Impenetrable don't need that shrine either. No
빨리
more
뛰어야죠,
people
뛰어야죠.
build on this roof.
Maximize.
Not even Kitava
뛰어야죠,
doesn't
뛰어야죠.
actually die.
자, 먼저 입장, 먼저 입장.
Second ahead of I'm Exile.
아메짤 먼저
This might
입장.
be the closest
야, 현역이 가자, 현역이
finishable
가자.
time here.
MXL types no chance.
What are you talking about?
노 찬스.
talking about the
대충
chance.
찬스
He
지치.
can't.
Oh,
He
the no
knows
chance.
he's
난
fallen.
찬스 있었으면
Literally
이겼는데.
you've got
와,
the
똑같아.
Sunrise Zone.
모른다, 진짜. 노드 빼고, 노드 빼고, 딜로드, 딜로드. 딜로드 찍죠?
Do everything. Eat, squeeze every damage.
It's gonna
Oh my
work.
god.
노드 바꿨어요. 얼마 차이 안 나는 거 알고 있죠?
This is so close.
Oh my god.
아,
so
근데
much damage coming out of
잠깐만.
him.
피 차이 얼마나 돼?
Excellent
아,
dodges
시소가
from
너무
Exile
세요.
there. Tide 23 securing this phase just a little bit ahead there. Yeah, we're seeing that
아,
slightly.
시소가 너무 세.
Such a big flask difference.
아, 시소가 너무 셉니다.
Don't die! Go to exile! He waits it out! A second portal coming up for Exile. The ad phase begins. Tide dodging a hand sweep.
아, 이걸.
Oh my god. Did Tide get it? No,
아니,
that's the next
현역들이
hard
이거를
phase.
지금
Tide playing it safe, making sure he's done
진정한
it.
챔피언인가요, 타이?
Oh my god!
Points, no, Tide 23, please. Oh my god. He's okay.
Exile dodging, Tide 23, closing
지금
it
위에는
out
막-
here. Will he safely play
위에는
it?
3, 4등장하고 밑에는 1, 2등장하는데 개꿀이 뭘 봐야 될지 모르겠네.
모르겠네. Tide 23 will take it yet
와.
Tide 23, oh my god, could not be closer. And the heart-wrenching near miss in the
Yeah.
final seconds there. Tide 23 is your grand champion for ExileCon 2023. Oh my god, Orion is perfect.
Oh my goodness.
아, 이거 솔직히 시소 있었으면 아메짜리.
And I have to say also,
것
I'm Exile.
Yeah,
Good job, I'm Exile.
he knows the position that he is in.
He's alright, he's alright. I'm Exile. Taking
아, 이게
second place as well. A
지금
huge
타이라는
congratulations
친구가
and
모르시는
round of
분들 위해서
applause
설명하자면
for
전
I'm
엑자이콘 스피드러너 우승자고
That is the
약간
process.
초대 기념으로 온 친구긴 하거든요.
It literally just came down to that slight percentage point difference in the kill speed at the end of the fight there.
그리고
Wow.
피해를 안 합니다,
Well
이
done to
친구가.
both of
근데
them.
1등 한 거
Absolutely
보면
huge race.
품 어디 안
See
간다.
MXL battling
챔피언
to
품
right
어디 안
no
가. 자,
chance.
1등은
He writes GG instead. The team player until the
CC해가지고
huge claps I think
Well
for
done,
MXL
yes.
for
CC에서
really
POE
blasting
스피드런 안
away during
한다는
this
게
event. He did
사실인
so
걸로.
freaking well despite the odds
CC에서.
being stacked up against him. Great performance from both of our players, and as I say
아메짱
that,
또 2등했어.
as we're still going for that third,
Yeah, let's see
2등에서
what
응원했는데
that
역시
is.
오늘도
Third
2등
place.
하는구나.
it is fairly
I
close.
couldn't even look at the top half of the screen during that.
There was way too
So
much
I don't know
going on.
what's going. We're gonna fight.
I think Havoc didn't have a portal, and I don't think he had
Yep.
waypoints. I think he had to rerun
암진호.
Titan Killer,
That is
allowing Titan Killer to catch up and get onto the
엑사일의
rooftop
콩.
as the first player.
언젠간
It is
아메짱이
fairly
1등하는 날을
close.
기다리며
No pressure,
언제나
Titan Killer.
응원하겠습니다.
He did have that little bit of an unfortunate rip in his
Yeah.
qualifier that he ended up winning. He could afford it, but will he be able to afford it in this
아,
race?
하복.
Oh,
두 번 죽었어요. 아이고 하복이 내
That's
생각엔 이제
not fair.
멘탈이
Oh no.
This
아
event is straight up rigged.
포기를 한 것 같네요.
Havoc.
어이,
with
부활을
the,
안 누르는 거
yeah, the
보니까.
death at Innocence earlier is a huge
멘탈이 아예
upset.
나가버린.
The players take a lot of risks sometimes in
꺾여버렸답니다.
skipping certain waypoints.
처음에
and
이제
things like that, and there are
렉으로
certain deaths that can
인풋렉도
just
좀
be
있다고
brutal if that
그런 거
happens.
보니까
You have to run so many zones to catch back up. If you don't have those
고생했네.
checkpoints. But let's see Tai Killer over the finish line here as he secures his third place in the Katava.
타이가 3등하는 건 사실상
What a
하복이
race
저거는
for all
썰엔
our
친
races
겁니다.
here.
하복은.
Supremely entertained.
하복은 썰에는 친 거예요. 왜냐면 지금 얘가 3등인지 4등인지 하복은 모르잖아요, 본인이.
Oh, yeah.
근데 렉으로 한번
Wait a
밀리고
minute, it's
인풋
still
렉으로
anyone's
죽었으니까
game, but,
나왔고
I'm
어차피
just saying that, I've
꼴등이니까
been
썰엔 친
supremely
겁니다.
entertained and, I don't
1등
know,
몇 분, 한
have
50분
you
걸린 것 같아요.
enjoyed this race at home and in the audience as well.
아맥자 기업이 나왔는데 안 주었대.
Just a moment here as we see
억가가 아니라
Killer
본인이
through
그냥 안 준 거구나.
the end of the race. All right, folks, we are securing and wrapping
그래도
things up
이제
here. Huge congratulations once again to
대회니까.
Tai23, I'm Exile,
자꾸
and
다시
Tai Killer, who will be taking third place there, and Havoc. Thank you very much for a good show from everyone.
아맥자를 오타가 잡았냐고?
Oh, we
예,
have
오타.
about 2 more minutes as the players are still blasting
We're
away.
being herded to our positions.
I think I called it a little bit too early.
Yes, there we go.
아맥자는
Killer
그냥
is still
뭐
battling away
심심하니까.
at Kitava. He's doing incredibly well. He's fully in control. He knows what he's doing. Those cremations are being put down in perfect position. The Desecrate
누가 1등이냐고요? 타이.
played perfectly
네
as
번째.
well. We'll be dodging
타이가
those little
1등입니다.
bit
전
of
챔피언,
degeneration
전
on the ground.
스피드런 1등이
He's got enough
이번
HP to deal
에콘도
with it.
1등
And
했네요.
with that being said,
완전
we'll
없었다.
be taking it down with Havoc
아 근데 너무 잘하는데
fighting Kitava
타이가 너무
right
잘해요.
now for the 4th place.
He locks it in and
저
secures
사람
his
접었다고 하지
third
않았냐고?
place.
CC에서
Congratulations to Tai
접었답니다.
Killer for
내가 봤을 때
doing so.
CC에서 접은 거 맞는 것 같아.
Excellent race from everyone and a huge round of applause for all of our races today. And thank you to them for the entertainment.
His fault, you know,
하복은
sometimes
마음이
that happens.
아프고
In that
타이는 너무
in
잘하고
particular,
아맥잘도 너무 잘했는데
the
타이타이
first
킬러는
platform of that zone
아무
is
일도
actually
없었는데
just
왜
RNG. The next ones, it's always a cross. And the first one, it is RNG, so
아무 일도
Tech Farm being
없었는데
such a
왜 4등
consistent class to race.